Today I wanted to cover some simple shading exercises and ways to make shading less intimidating or understanding values less intimidating. I'm going to give you a couple exercises and I'll do some explanations while I do that. The first exercise you want to do is a value scale. You'll probably see a lot of these and a lot of these explained, and other people could probably explain it a little bit in more depth. I'm just going to give you the exercise to do it. So what you want to draw is just a rectangle, long rectangle, like so. And what you want to do with that rectangle is you want to just divide it into, it doesn't really matter how many, you just have to, whatever you decide is what you decide. So we have 5. You can go up to 6, you can go up to 8, you can do it down to 3. In fact, we'll do 1, 5, 1, 3, 1, 2, and let's try 1, 1, 7 as well. So there's a reason for all of these. I'm going to explain it slightly differently than most people do. So 2 is, well, we'll see, right? So 2 is a binary, is like a binary value. 3 is you have 3 separate values. Your whites, your midtones, and your shadows. This one will be just whites and shadows. So this would be like a silhouette, basically. Anyway, so for this one, you just want to shade as hard as you can, as dark as you can in one quadrant, like that. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just distinguishing which is which. For this one, you want to make this. So the best way to do value scales is to just build it up over time. So you do this one quite mid-tone, so you just go quite light but sort of hard so you get color, and then you do the same into this quadrant, and then you can practice different ways of shading, like cross-hatching or whatever. So you can shade this way, and then that gives you your darker tone like this. So now you have 3. So this one is for like pop arty sort of stuff, or where you have defined lines and you don't really blend. This one is when you start to blend, but not so aggressively. So this one is hard. This is like harsh. This one is less harsh. This is even less harsh. This is like blending all the way through. So for this one, you want to start less than that. So here, and we always leave the first one white. So this one should be closer to white. And you want to go this light the whole time, actually. The whole time. And I'll explain why. When you're doing values, if you're doing it with pencil or something like that, you always want to build it up slowly. The same could be said about a lot of painting stuff, depending on your skill level. If you have a really good skill level, you don't have to do that, but when you're starting, it's always good to build up values because it's easier to correct mistakes that way. So you just build up the shading like this. This one you can go like a little bit harder on each one, but take your time, and then go over it again on the next one like this, like this, and then from here even one more. So if we build layers, we can get a more consistent value progression. So this one will be for, so as I said again, this one will be for silhouettes. This one will be for like pop arty sort of stuff or very defined lines. This one is more of a less subtle than a real blend, but enough so that you can have a blend if you need it to. And then this one, 7 across, is probably the more extreme one where you're kind of just blending between them. So this one will be ultra light. This will be lighter than that one. I'm basically just gliding the pencil across the page. I'm barely putting any pressure. This is also a good and efficient way to learn pressure control. if you draw really harsh lines and then you have to rub them out, you're gonna have a hard time. So drawing like this light, is a really effective way to do good undersketches when you're doing more finished pieces or whatnot. But yeah. So as you can see, I'm not doing like a full coloring in or full, like if you want to do that, you can do that, but I'm just doing it rough so you get the idea of a value scale. If you find that too boring, that's when you can amp up the challenge level. But learning pressure control is more important to me because when you learn pressure control, you can basically have control over everything else that you draw as well. So you don't have to worry about making so many mistakes. You can start light and then add and add and add and add. But if you're an impatient person like me, you can just go back to these kind of value scales without having to worry about making this one too dark and this one too light. The other way you can practice pressure control is, of course, to use brushes. Brushes are naturally inclined, but they have a different way of doing it. So brushes, you learn brush control by choosing the thickness of your lines. And that can translate back into doing stuff with pencil. So as I say, it's always good to try and experiment with new media. You'll learn lots of things from it that you can take back to the one you're more comfortable with. I'm always more comfortable with brush pens in general, but I learned better painting because of it. And I also learned better control overall by using all different kinds of mediums. And as you can see, we're creating a much more subtle blended value scale here. And as you can see, it doesn't really take that long. It takes at best 5 minutes to do these. But you'll learn like how far you want to go with your values when you do this. I prefer this one or this one, mostly because it's more efficient and it takes less time. But if I really wanted to, I can do this one and this one too. I will struggle with this one if I'm not doing it over time. This is more like if I wanted to do a really finished piece or something like that. So these are the ways that you can approach values in a less intimidating way. Just try these value scales. Figure out which one you like. If you like very harsh contrast, do that one. If you like medium pop arty stuff, try this one. If you want more modern art with enough blending to see it, but not enough to be pedantic about it, do this one. If you want to be sort of like old masters, do this one, or even go to a 10 scale or whatever you want, you can do this one. It's up to you which one you want to do, and I think it's a good way to figure out what kind of way you like to draw as well. But again, practice all of them, because you'll learn stuff about this one by doing this one, and you'll learn where to put aspects of this into this and this and this. So, the other way you can practice is you draw a cube, and this is not a really special one, like this. And then from here, you take the principles of doing the 3 scale here. The light is coming this way, so this is white. This is in shadow. Actually, we can make this one darker because it's only going to be 3 different values. And this one, it'll be like that. And then you just cross over. Like this. And then you'll learn something important, that it doesn't, if you're looking at life, when you draw, you're not really looking to draw and make it exactly like what you see in light. You're just trying to match up the comparative differences. So if something is lighter, you make that lighter. If something's darker, you make that darker. But it doesn't have to be the same as you see in real life unless you're doing super realistic things. So have fun with this. Try this out. If you don't like it, tell me, and I'll find a new way for you to enjoy values, because it is a valuable part of learning how to draw, because it also influences your line work. So have fun. Try it out. Please ask some questions if you have any. I look forward to hearing from all of you. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.